All right, and welcome back to another exciting episode of A Distinguished Conversation. I am your host, as always, Noah, and today with me I have my main man's Breezy.
How's it going, guys? Really excited to be here. Been looking forward to this, so...
Yeah, we've been looking forward to having you on the show. Caleb would have been here, but he's in the Bahamas or dead or something, I don't know.
What a loser.
Yeah, and then Marcos, he's also a loser.
That's right.
I swear, Marcos, if you miss one more show, no.
I shall be his replacement.
I mean, we might have to, you know. We started off and we had a good thing going. It was two amigos and a gringo, and then he just stopped showing up. Frickin' Marcos. No, we get it.
Come on, Marcos. Get your shit together, man. Come on.
That being said, could you actually adjust your mic so it's a little bit closer to you?
Yes. Good.
No, I mean, like you adjust your like so. Because it's not the top part, it's like the side of it that it's gonna record. There you go.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, that sounds better.
Now you're sounding crispy.
Yeah.
You're like extra crispy Kentucky Fried Chicken.
That's
I
right.
like KFC.
Yeah.
So that reminds me. So we talk about food, and one of the things that Caleb sent to the group chat the other day was this. It's basically a diagram. So there's 4 main categories of food. And it's sandwich, salad, ravioli, or a soup.
Okay.
And so this is a diagram. It's the cube rule of food identification.
Huh. Okay.
So if it's at the bottom, it's toast. But if it's so like a layer at the bottom, that would be considered toast. So if you have 2 pieces of bread or 2 coverings, that would be a sandwich. If there's nothing at the bottom of the plate holding it all together, that would be considered a salad. So a taco wraps on the bottom and on both sides, and then sushi completely wraps on both sides, but not the 2 ends. Mm-hmm. So a quiche wraps on all sides except for the very top, and a calzone completely encapsulates everything on every side.
Yeah.
And a cake has multiple layers. I don't know how I feel about this.
I think they're just overcomplicating food, man. Food is just fucking food. Just eat it.
No. This is science.
I mean, okay, but from my perspective, why overcomplicate something such as simple as food? If it's a taco, just eat the damn taco. There's no science to it.
Maybe I don't like sour cream. I don't know. Speaking of tacos. So... I went to, there's this place that the kids enjoy called the Taco Bell.
Yes.
And I got a Taco 12-pack.
Okay.
A Fiesta Party Pack, whatever the hell it's called. And then there's another place right across the street called Taco Shop.
Oh.
So I figured, let's try them both. Let's see which one's better, which one's worse, which of these will I, never want to have again. So here you go. Here's one that's...
See what we've signed up for.
Oh, shoot. They asked what sauce I wanted over at Taco Bell, and I just said yes, and they gave me everything. All right. So, which one shall we try first? Taco Shop or Taco Bell?
You know what? Since I feel like Taco Bell is more familiar ground, I say we should start with Taco Bell.
Taco Bell?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's have a look-see here. All right. Oh, that was very nicely wrapped. Like the paper that they have. It's almost got those 90s colors. No crunch in there.
Well, yeah, no, that was kind of underwhelming.
At the top.
Yeah.
But the bottom, there's no crunch.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you handed me a soft taco for a second, because when I grabbed it, it kind of didn't feel as hard as you'd think.
That's what she said.
That's right.
I've said this multiple times on the show, but with Taco Bell, I'm not a fan. But every once in a while, I just want to lower my standards. It's like shitting in love.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not a big Taco Bell guy either, but especially now at this point in my life where I'm a broke college student,
mm-hmm.
who the only thing he really needs to do when he's fucking hungry is go get him some cheap ass food that's probably not gonna taste that great, but you know what? It's cheap.
Yeah.
Can't complain about that.
Cheap is always going to be cheap.
That's right.
Though I will say the prices have skyrocketed.
That is true.
It was like $17 for a party pack. Lucky me, I had a $15 gift card. But
nice.
$17. I thought they were like 14. That was the last time I'd bought one.
You know what? Last time I remember, they were actually like $12.
Sheesh.
Like last year.
Damn.
Not even kidding.
Damn.
They were literally like $12.
Thanks, Joe Biden. No.
No, and I
We'll
literally remember because last year I was hanging out with some friends and we were hungry. It was late at night. We're like, dude, what should we get? The youngest one in our group, he's like, let's go get some Taco Bell. Well, it just so happens he's the one that was the most hungry out of everyone, so he got a party pack for himself.
It'd be that way.
Uh-huh.
Well, like, anytime I ever go to Taco Bell, the only thing I ever get is said party pack.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can devour one of these by myself if I wanted to. Not saying I should, but, you know, eating your feelings away, kids, keeps the depression at bay.
They do say that.
So, we've had a taste of Taco Bell. Let's try this other one, Taco Shop. I'm very excited to see. Very underwhelming in terms of presentation. It looks like cat food. And...
You know...
Yeah, cat food.
I've actually had Taco Shop once.
I can't...
And this was like last year.
I can't remember if I've had it once or not. I
had the worst customer service ever. Like, these guys were absolute assholes, man. I was hungry after work, and I was like, man, it was right there down the street. I was like, might as well try it. Why not? So we went ahead, ordered some Taco Shop, ordered 3 soft shell tacos, and I added sour cream. I don't know if you're a big sour cream guy or not. I am. Really? I love sour cream. And then I asked for a large drink. And I was about to tell, like, what I wanted for my drink, and he's like, sorry, do you just want me to guess what you want me to serve you? I'm like, dude, hold on. I was about to tell you. Goddamn.
Kids these days.
I know.
I will say, there is a lot more, like, you can even hear the crunch on that one.
Mm-hmm. I think I like this one better. The thing with Taco Bell tacos is, like, they're a bit bland in my opinion. I feel like I can taste a lot more flavor in these ones.
Mm-hmm. It's not good, but...
Hell no. But...
For the price.
Yeah. How much did you pay for that? I'm gonna guess, like, $5 at the most? Or was it more than that?
So, for the Taco Shop ones, it was for a 12-pack. They told me $12.35 at the machine, but then it was $15.35 at the window.
Oh damn! I was way off.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, for 12 of them.
Yeah. That's fair.
But comparatively, $15.35 versus $18.80, I think. Or $18.30, something like that, over at Taco Bell. But Taco Bell is really like, it's like Patron or like Pizza Hut, you know. It's just kind of like, it looks and it sounds good, and then you get it and you're like, it's not bad, but it's certainly not what I was hoping for.
No.
It was a fun little experiment.
Yeah, not bad. Got to eat some food. Can't complain about that.
Oh yeah. We try and do that here at a distinguished conversation, and it's feed our guest host and all that good stuff. Speaking of food for thought, we were gonna talk about Weezer, but frickin' Atticus didn't want to be on the show. He's tired from work or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I'll probably bug him throughout the show. So, Breezy, why don't you tell the audience about yourself?
I mean, just living a simple life, man. Just been working lately. Met Miguel through Headliners, and kind of bonded over some similar upbringings with family and whatnot, and it's been a great deal getting to know him, and I'm right now on the road to start recording music and getting into that world, and hopefully I can make it big one of these days. That's kind of the prime goal.
Yeah, way cool. I know that was something that you and I had kind of talked about, was cutting a disc, as I like to say. But yeah, I actually just recorded a song on Monday, and then I was like mixing it yesterday, and I got home at like midnight, or closer to like 12:30ish, and then I was mixing, and then it was about like 4:30 when I went to bed. And I was like, shoot, this is just the worst.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, it's like you find one thing and you get it perfect, and then you find another thing that while you've made the other thing perfect, it's like, okay, well, now these cymbals are too bright, but now that's not enough bass, and
I think that's especially like the biggest thing with me. I've kind of like experimented a little bit with like music producing. I have GarageBand, so I just kind of mess around with it. I remember one like instrumental I was working on specifically. It took me like, I was like bored at night, and you get so bored after a while of like watching like Netflix or YouTube on your phone after a while. So I was like, you know what? Let's record a little beat on GarageBand. So that's what I went ahead and did, and I was just so particular with wanting to make sure everything sounded the way that I wanted it to sound, that it took me, I started it around like 12 in the morning, and I stayed up till about like 5 just trying to finish it up and making it sound like absolutely perfect. I mean, I think that's, if you have such like a perfectionist mind, especially with music, like you will not like sleep until you make sure it's perfect.
Yeah, that's kind of 100% true. Like another reason I wanted Atticus on that episode was he's doing like a scholarship where he's at like a studio. So not scholarship, internship. That's the word.
Yeah.
So he's actually learning digital media production and mixing and mastering, and we kind of have the same issues of like, we'll find one thing and we'll just completely spend all the time focusing on that one thing, and then we won't stop until it's perfect, and then we find other issues, and then we won't stop until we fix those other issues, and it
just keeps adding up.
Oh yeah, 100%. And what was it like? One of the things that I kept having the problem with the song that I was working on was it's my first attempt at like a pop song. Typically I do some kind of like rock or something, but no, this was pop, and I had like a disco beat going for pretty much the whole song. And there was this clap part where I do a and so then I was just there for like 10 minutes just recording claps, and like it still doesn't sound as full as I want it to, but it's very fun. I double it, triple it, quadruple it.
I mean, I think that's what's like so nice about like production, like music production specifically, because I've been doing it for a while, but with friends who like are more experienced with it. So anytime I've always gone to record music with a friend, they're always the ones that are like the masterminds behind the computer, and the ones who make sure that everything is sounding good. the only thing I'm doing, I'm just there to make the music. I'm never really there to actually produce it. And so that's kind of what I want to start learning to do. Like I said, over the summer, I've been saving up for a little recording studio in my room. I'm almost there, halfway. Just have to buy a few more things for it, but
for shizzle.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a learning experience for sure. And I mean,
what software are you wanting to use for your music production?
The one that I'm the most familiarized with is called Studio One.
Oh, way cool. That's what I got right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
nice. Yeah,
it's my main man. Shout out to Matt Zuliger over at Sweetwater. He said that he used Studio One and finds it very simple to use and easy to use. And I think I was gonna go with Pro Tools just because that was kind of that was the name. But I've heard that like if you're not familiar with Pro Tools, then it's not a good one to get into. But yeah, I've had very few problems or issues with Studio One. I think most of my issues are user error. But yeah, it's it does the job. Yeah,
that's the one I was the most familiarized with, just because one of my friends who I first started recording music with used this specifically, and one of my friends who I've been recording with recently, Mikhail. I've been.
I know him.
He uses FL Studio.
FL Studio.
Two completely different worlds when it comes to softwares, but it's helped me kind of understand what I feel more comfortable with as far as recording music. And like I said, I'm the most familiarized with Studio One. So
that didn't sound good. Why is it doing that? Sorry folks, technical difficulties. Not like we ever have these on this show.
Yeah,
just kidding. That's every week for us. So that being said, talking about all the softwares and all that, it's kind of like different guitars where each one kind of has its own unique flavor.
Yeah, and its own different unique tone. I'm not an expert when it comes to guitars, but I feel like I have a decent common knowledge regarding the fact that I don't even play guitar. I can't play it to save my life. I am what they call a piano guy, and
technically they call him a pianist.
The pianist, yes.
Piano man.
But we don't use technicality here. We use our own terms here.
We use racial slurs. What?
But yeah, I love guitar, and I just feel like I don't have the, I wouldn't say dedication, but I just knowing how much you have to practice for you to even be decent at guitar, it's just intimidating to me. And I've been so comfortable with the piano that I can't really just try and go ahead and learn something new. Sorry, y'all. We got Miguel over here trying to fix his stand. It's
now we're confusing people. We're calling me Miguel on this show.
Oh, my bad, Noah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. Man, look, I met him as Miguel.
A lot of people did.
And I didn't know his name was Noah until the podcast. When I first started listening to your stuff, I was like, "Who the fuck is Noah?"
Yeah. No, that's a lot of people. What was it? A couple years ago, I had started a job, and one of my coworkers from a previous job was also starting at said job, and they knew me as Noah, but there were already a couple of other Noahs, and so I started going by Miguel, and they were it just kind of stuck. And and I remember she was the only one who knew me as Noah, but everyone would look at the schedule and say Noah worked this day, and they're like, who the hell is this Noah guy?
Yeah.
And Miguel's always here, and they just thought Miguel picked up all of Noah's shifts.
Oh, wow.
It was funny.
That's funny, yeah.
And then one day, I forgot how, but she was like, hey, Noah, Miguel, and they were like, wait, so you're Noah? But yeah, no. Have I ever told you the story of where Miguel came from?
I think so. You weren't really
Well, a long time ago, I was in a band with a guy. He looked like Mikey Way from My Chemical Romance, and so instead of like calling him his actual name Riley, we called him Mikey. Well, then that was around like 2016, so we were trying to be more progressive and culturally diverse, so we called him Miguel. It was really funny because he was white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed.
Yeah.
It was just very funny. And then he left the band, and so I took on the name Miguel.
Nice. Yeah. Funny enough, I kind of have... Because Miguel is kind of like your stage name now.
It is,
yeah. Miguel Simmons.
Mm-hmm. Anytime I was actually at... I think that's good for now. I was at Kirby's beer store last night.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Bora, or Borv, however you want to call her, which she'll actually be on the show next week. So,
nice.
We're looking forward to that. Oh yeah, folks, we're gonna have a live show next week. Very exciting. Can't wait to see how that goes. But yeah, she played. She was like the opening act for a couple of people. What was it? Call Me Ishmael. Another gentleman named Goose. Period. I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And Staring at the Sun.
Nice.
So
nice.
they were playing last night, and yeah, it was a very good set. But I was there, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's your name, man?" And I was like, "Miguel." Noah. Sometimes Miguel. Just kind of depends.
Yeah.
I was like, do you just want to get to know me? And no, if you need a guitar player, Miguel,
Yeah.
Just kind of depends.
I have my own little stage name that I came up with back like my freshman year of high school, because I was like, if I ever make it big in the music industry, fingers crossed, but anything can happen. But if I was to ever have a stage name, it'd be Jordy Molina.
Jordy Molina,
yeah.
So where does that come from?
Well, Jordy originally comes from, I was always saying that when I had my first child with whoever, if it was a boy, I wanted him to be named Jordy. So it'd just kind of be like a little tribute to my first child, if I ever have one, And Molina, my parents own a restaurant called Molino's,
Nice.
And it just kind of didn't ring well with me doing like Jordy Molino, and I was like, well, we can make it sound a bit more interesting, change the O to an A, Jordy Molina, and so that's kind of, it's a stupid backstory behind it, but it's just kind of how I came up with it, and so that's just kind of what I've been rolling with ever since. So, yeah.
Nice. Yours has a lot more of like a significant meaning. Mine was just we just didn't feel like calling somebody the right name.
Yeah, no.
So that's another thing. Shout out to Molino's. Go check it out.
Yes.
Good Elpa store, from what I've heard.
Yes.
Well, we're definitely gonna have to try that on the podcast. Probably next time. I was meaning to ask if we wanted to have that on the podcast today, but lots of scheduling conflicts. People.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I was supposed to. Oh yeah. I'll take care of that later. But yeah. All right. So one of the things that you and I have talked about before is Weezer.
Yes.
I'm a very big fan of Weezer. In fact, right over here, I have the set list from the
nice.
show that I saw them play in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That's
2019.
so badass.
Yeah. I remember this girl came up to me and she's like, "What you got there?" And I was like, "She's trying to steal my set list."
Yeah.
Women don't talk to me. But yeah, they're not very good, but you gotta love them.
Yeah.
What was the first Weezer song that you'd ever listened to?
Oh my god. I was probably like 9 when I first heard it. It was Buddy Holly.
That was actually, so I'd heard like Island in the Sun and different things, but like never really paid attention to who the band was. But Buddy Holly was the first one that I remember. I was a fan of They Might Be Giants, And so I would listen to them on Pandora. And it would just play random stuff. And I remember the second that I heard Buddy Holly, I was just kind of mesmerized by how fast and punchy and just powerful that song is. And
it's funny because I discovered that song on Pandora also, because that used to kind of be, I guess, the thing back then, to listen to music in Pandora.
And now we got Spotify. And Spotify for podcasters.
But yeah, because I was listening to like a Green Day playlist that was going on Pandora. And so I was listening to that, and then one of the next songs that just popped up just so happened to be Buddy Holly, and I was just fascinated by it, because I think the thing with Weezer, it's like it's just kind of like, oh, nerds can also play rock music.
That's actually my exact. So growing up, my idea of rock and roll was the Beatles, and then later the Ramones. So you go from like these British kids who grew out their long hair and beards and were hippies, and then you have the Ramones, just these punk rockers with leather jackets, ripped jeans, and Converse. And then you have Weezer, and it's like, oh my god, nerds can play music too. I was like, there is a place for me in this world. And but I just remember listening to Buddy Holly, and the song's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and it was like listening to a Beatles song with distortion, or like one of those like 50s, 60s kind but with distortion. And I remember the second the song was over, I was like, what the hell just happened? I remember I turned off Pandora and I like looked it up on YouTube, because I was like, Buddy Holly by Weezer, write that down. And then I ever since then I was a huge fan of Weezer. The buddy that I wanted on the show, Atticus, what was it? I was at church another day, and they were just throwing around a football, as you do at church. And I remember I was singing Buddy Holly, or like humming to it, and he was like, that's Buddy Holly by Weezer. I was like, it surely is. And he was like, hey, I like Weezer too. And I was like, I only know this one song. And he's like, check out the rest of that album. I said, I surely will. And so I surely did. And then we started a band, and then and then he moved away. And then I moved away. So I remember just lots of fond memories with that song. And then like the rest of that album, which Blue Album, masterpiece.
Oh, for sure. It's one of my all-time favorite Weezer albums, for sure.
It's what is the word? It has no right to be as good as it actually is.
Oh, like, no. Hell no.
It's so just lightning in a bottle, and it just out of nowhere, just a couple of nerds, and My Name is Jonas is probably one of their best openers. Tired of Sex is pretty great. I'd also put like Ain't Got Nobody up on that one.
I love it. That's one of my favorites, actually.
Let's see what else. California Kids was pretty all right. I don't know. It's weird. They went from like being really good, great album, second follow-up album, pretty good, just dynamically and lyrically very differently. And then you got the Green Album, Played It Safe, Maladroit, which no one ever talks about that one. And
that's kind of where it kind of died down for me, because I feel like that Blue Album was such a staple in like the rock world. And as it kind of started dying down more, like early 2000s, it just kind of like it as like punk rock specifically, like as it kind of died down throughout like the early 2000s, it kind of brought like a downhill for like other rock bands out there also.
Because I mean, like, you went from what's the word, pretty strong rock scene, and then it kind of died out, and indie alternative kind of started becoming the thing. Which I'm not against that, because that's how you get Modest Mouse. and like the Strokes are always fun to listen to.
Yeah, I love the Strokes actually. Yeah.
Who else came out of that?
Julian Casablancas is a crazy motherfucker, but you know what? Hey, he does his thing.
Yeah. What's I can't think. I just had the Killers.
Mm-hmm.
That was Dave Kooning from the Killers was actually one of the reasons I wanted to play guitar.
Oh, really?
I remember, like, I grew up listening to Beatles and all that good stuff, but Dave Kooning was the one where I remember listening to Mr. Brightside and thinking, wow, I want to play that. So I picked up my dad's guitar, and I thought, how hard could this be? And after like 2 hours, I was like, this shit sucks. I never want to see one of these again. I am never going to touch one of these again. And as I'm looking at my 5 guitars just staring right across the room from me, we see how well that worked out.
Yeah, no, literally.
Next song I learned after that was Island in the Sun by Weezer.
Yeah.
Open chords.
Yeah. I mean, guitar, obviously you were able to pick it up pretty well. Me, on the other hand, like, at the moment I said, this fucking sucks, I don't ever want to touch it ever again, like, I stuck to it. And
so what you're saying is you're a man of your word.
I am a man of my word, especially when it comes to music, man. But like, it's still, like, I know, like, at some point I want to learn how to play it, because I want to be a music producer that's, like, diverse with their, like, musical talent. You know, I want to be one of those music producers that can, you know, lay down a bass groove whenever they need him to, or, you know, like, playing the piano, like, that's always something I'll always be able to do. But if anyone ever needs me to, like, lay down something on the guitar to make a song sound better, like, I'll do it. That's what I'm for. That's what I'm all for. And I think the biggest thing is just because of how much influence I take from all kinds of genres.
Yeah.
Rock being a big one, but, like, and now as I've gotten older, I've been big on, like, R&B music, soul music, funk, all that type of music. Nice. We got over here. Cool. Yeah, but I think one band that really stuck to me because they kind of mashed all together all those, like, different genres that I'm so big into now is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Always been a big Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. Just because, like I said, like, they kind of like to incorporate. Yes, please. Thank you. Yeah. About to munch on another taco.
Yeah. So I actually had to learn Under the Bridge for a show not long ago. And I remember my first thought when they said, yeah, you should be able to pick it up, no problem. I was like, I'm good. I'm not that good. Which, like, I don't know. I've never been into the Chili Peppers. I respect all of them as musicians.
Yeah.
They're all phenomenal at their instrument and at their craft. I just can never, like, sit down and listen to one of their albums in entirety. But that being said, they have a song on their newest album called Eddie, and I have that on repeat.
Yeah.
Like, and if I play it once, I'll play it like 100 times in a row.
Definitely, yeah. Well, you know, Flea is one of the biggest reasons why I want to learn how to play bass.
Don't tell me you want to play slap bass.
I mean, he's not one of the reasons why I wanted to play slap bass, but I was just so mesmerized by how passionate he is with just his ability to play bass, and I just absolutely love that.
Yeah.
You know, and like, it's oh god, fuck, brain fart out here, y'all, man. But it's just it's really intriguing to me to be able to see someone, like, how much passion they have for what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's just, it motivates me to want to have to do that also. And so it's, like, got me to study, like, bass a lot more. So yeah, like, Flea is definitely, like, a big inspiration. Thundercat is another great bassist too.
Thundercat, he's all right.
I mean, he's definitely, got his moments, but I mean, he's definitely also a big influence for me.
The real bass player you need to look into, it's actually Paul McCartney's influence. What's his name? James Jamerson?
Okay.
I'm just gonna double check and make sure that that's the right name. I want to say it's James Jamerson, but James Jamerson. He was the like funk and Motown bass player throughout most of the 60s and early 70s. And I want to say he was the guy who took like a sponge and put it under his strings.
That's what I was about to say. I think he was well known for doing that. Then that's what kind of gave it that like world famous Motown tone that we all know and love.
Oh yeah. So when I went to buy my first bass, I really liked, it was a Fender Mustang bass. It was like a little shorter scale, but it still had the Fender sound. And I said, yeah, I want to go get this Fender Mustang. And my dad said, buy a Hofner. And I said, I don't like the Hofners. I want a Fender. And he said, buy a Hofner. I was like, but I like this sound. And he said, buy a Hofner. So I bought a Hofner. And I don't use it on every song now, but it has a very distinct sound. So like when I need that very plucky, very what is the word? Almost stand-up bass sound.
Yeah,
it's got a very good tone for that. But if I need more of that twangy, more traditional Fender style bass, I have my beautiful knockoff California P-bass thing. It just says California on the headstock. I have no idea what it is. It cost me about $100, and it was played and sounded good at Phil Ulick's. Oh, shout out to Phil Ulick's downtown. Great place. Go,
hell yeah,
go check it out.
Yeah, they got a. I remember the first time I went there. I don't know if they still have it. They had a Wurlitzer electric piano that I used to like. I used to walk into that store and just play it for hours, and I'd stay there, play it, and literally write songs on the Wurlitzer, just literally sitting there and playing the whole time. And the owners got to know me pretty well just because they knew that I would walk in, and the first room that I'd go to was all the keyboard rooms, and that's the first spot that I'd go to.
Nice. But they're like that at Ulick's. Like I go in there and they're like, hey, Noah, what's happening? They know, they're like, you gotta, what was it? When I went and I bought that mic right there, the previous day I was buying a couple of different things that we needed for the show and for just different things. And I went back the next day. I was like, hey, I'm going to get that other mic. And he said, you really do need to stop coming in here. That's kind of been the joke, is that every time I go there, I somehow end up walking out with a pedal or like strings or a strap or something. They always find a way.
I'd be like that. I've been buying a lot of my equipment for the recording studio from them. Like I bought an audio interface from them. I got what was it? I got this synthesizer that I'm gonna figure out how I can like connect it to and not have to use any plugins to make it, to make it play, because I know like the MIDI world is so like has taken over the world.
Go ahead.
And like it's just kind of hard to like make music sound more organic now because of how many plugins you can use now.
Oh yeah. Well, like what I did for the newest song that I was working on, it was it like I said, it was my attempt at a pop song. And so my attempt at a pop song has me screaming in the chorus, but I tried getting like some synths in there.
Yeah.
And so I have the Hammond organ right there.
Yeah.
Got that at Goodwill for like $70. I was like, a Hammond organ. And they were like, yeah, $70. I was like, okay. And I just
let me load it right now.
Well, I sent a text. I was like, Dad, bring your truck here at this time. And he's like, what did you buy? And I was like, I bought a Hammond organ. He's like, I'll be right there.
That's awesome.
Just make sure it gets home.
What Goodwill did you find it at?
The one on Oliver.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just there, and I was like, this can't be right. $70 for a Hammond organ. I like plugged it in to make sure it works. And I was like, it works.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And yeah, since then I've used it on a handful of my songs.
Emo Doo-Wop to be one of them.
Emo Doo-Wop.
That was a little banger I like to listen to every here and there.
Raccoon, I used it on that one. Let's see, what other
Biscuits and Gravy.
Biscuits and Gravy, I did use it on that one. I think those are the only ones, because that's the ones I've used or written since I've had it.
Yeah.
And then the newest one, which, let's have a look-see at the title of this one. My coworker said I should write you this song, and then also subtitled Why I Don't Get Numbers, or why I Don't Get Numbers. So yeah, it's all about so there's what is the word? So there's this girl, right?
Yeah.
And anyone who knows me knows that I start off sentences and always have a bad story that starts with, so there's this girl. And basically she was sitting with her friends, and it was my job to go take care of them as a server, so I went and I took care of them. We were just chatting, and she said, hey, do you like cats? And I was like, sure, why? And next thing I know is she's offering me a cat because there was like a stray that found its way into her apartment or something like that. And so I was like, okay, cool. So next thing I know is for like the next 10 minutes we were talking about cats.
Oh.
And then like the food comes out. I'd already harassed the young lady because she asked for a kids menu, and I was like, how old are you?
Oh.
And so,
oh man.
But yeah, we were just talking back and forth, and so I said, I went up to the table. I said, hey, my coworker said I should get your number, and so she gave me her number.
Okay.
There was no coworker. But yeah, so then texted her. She actually texted back, which me and like everyone else who was kind of loosely paying attention to this was kind of surprised. They were like, oh my god, she texted back. Then everyone was the word I had. At that point, I was like, oh, I have, as the kids call it, the W Riz. I'm learning the lingo, kids.
Yeah.
From there, everything just went downhill. My idea of romantic was, why did the Scarecrow win the award?
Oh.
Because he was outstanding in his field.
Oh my god.
And then it got worse from there, because after that didn't pan out well. I hit him with the what did the caramelized gentleman with issues say to the young lady with issues?
Oh god.
She said she had issues. Her words, not mine. And so responded. I was like, hey, any chance you want to do anything later today? And she was like, on my way to Oklahoma. Oh. I once had a girl tell me she was going to Oklahoma, so I wasn't sure. Like, I actually Googled this because I was like, is that like just something people say to let people off down easy? Like, I'm on my way to Oklahoma. And so then I sent a meme. The state of Oklahoma, $29.95 on eBay. So yeah. After that didn't pan out well, I sent this. Let's play 8-ball.
Oh man.
As y'all can tell, I'm a real hit in the ladies department.
Oh yeah.
So that was on a Tuesday, and nothing. And so I was like, okay, yeah, we all knew how this story was going to end even before it begins. Well, there was a twist.
Oh,
that Friday at 8:33 p.m. Hey Noah, took a break. Blah 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 blah. And the last part was, hope you're doing well and that we can plan to meet soon. So I was like, oh, okay. fascinating. So me and like the couple coworkers that I was sitting next to, because naturally when I'm not at one location of my job, I go to the other location just to visit. And so we were just chatting, and my coworkers were like, all right, here's what you got to do. Don't text her for a day. And I was like, I feel like that's rude to not respond. Yeah. But apparently you're not supposed to text them.
I mean, I guess.
Because then you come off as Alyssa, or not Alyssa, who's Alyssa? As Miss Roland, another shout out. Lots of shout outs today. Miss Roland told me that comes across as thirsty, whatever that means. So then my other coworker said, nah, man, hit her up at 3 a.m. So lots of mixed information. So there was a little bit of a conversation that Friday. And so kind of just left it at that. And then didn't respond until Sunday. Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon?
Oh, man.
Great food, but no atmosphere.
Oh, God.
So then, no response. And I was like, all right, I'm losing her. So I was like, what do I do? And everyone was kind of like, well, I don't know. And so we eventually said, hey, I'm very not good at this texting thing, and my idea of romantic is telling terrible jokes. Any hoozles, when can I take you to get that cup of tea? And she was like, I'm not really looking for a romantic partner. Is that what you were hoping for? Now, said pop song that I was writing, I was in the middle of working on the lyrics, and they may or may not have been for said girl I was texting.
Okay.
And I was like, well, shoot. So that made its way in the song, and the second half of the lyrics are very different from like the first half. But yeah. So, that's a done deal. I don't know where I was going with that.
Hey, it happened.
That's why I don't get numbers.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we each have our thing.
Yep. My thing is writing songs about all the girls that don't love me.
Oh, man. That just took an awful depressing turn, man. What the fuck?
I'll be like, what's that chick's name? Taylor Swift.
Yes.
But caramelized.
Oh, Lord. Caramelized
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Instead of Swifty, you'll be Simmonsies? Yeah, because Mikael Simmons, I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, we'll see. Once the fan base will get, they'll find their own thing. Yeah. You know? Don't they kind of name themselves?
I guess. I mean, like there's like Justin Bieber's got the Beliebers. And
is that
that's what they're called.
Tragic.
What's another one? I guess Taylor Swift's the Swifties.
I know Slipknot, their dedicated fans are called Maggots.
Maggots?
Oh,
wow.
And so the like origin of the name, I've heard a couple different things, but the one that I believe to be true is the drummer Joey Jordison. Yeah, that was the drummer. Sorry, I'm getting him confused with Jay Weinberg. But their original drummer, Joey Jordison, he said that their fans look like a bunch of swarming maggots from where he sat on stage.
Okay.
And just the crowd of people. So that's where their name comes from, supposedly.
Nice. Huh.
The other thing was supposedly there was like a deer head or something that they kept, and it had maggots, or I don't know. There's all sorts of...
Yeah.
You know, it's metal. Metal is weird.
Interesting stories with those metal heads out there.
Oh yeah. That being said, I still want to go see Slipknot. They seem like a fun time.
Yeah. You know, the only time I'll like willingly, voluntarily, I'll listen to any sort of metal is only when I'm working out. It's the only time I'll voluntarily listen to it. But for me to just like sit down in the car and just listen to Slipknot or just any metal band out there that just sounds like a bunch of noise.
Oh, it's a good time. You just have to find the right stuff, you know?
I guess, yeah, that's true.
So I used to hate metal, and then I had a old coworker back in Texas, and she would really like this band called Feed Her to the Sharks. And so I was like, this just sounds like noise. And she said, well, don't judge until you know what they're screaming about. And to that, I was like, you know what? You kind of got a point there.
Yeah.
So I went home and I listened to this thing, and I was, by the 8th song, I was like, this sucks. And it wasn't until the last song on that album called, so the album Savage Seas, last song, Death Design, and it has this really like clean guitar part in the beginning, and it's really, really fun. And I was like, okay, they're not too bad. And I just remember that last song, that was the one that did it for me. That, and they have another one called Let Go. It's also kind of the same, it's kind of similar to Death's Design. Yeah, lots of fun.
Nice.
As mentioned, I didn't stop mixing until like 4:30 this morning. It's great. I woke up and I was like, oh man, how long did I sleep? And then I realized it had only been 15 minutes, and then I was like, oh shoot, I can't fall asleep now. But yeah, all right, so that being said, I wonder if we can call Atticus, see if he wants to be on the podcast.
Yeah, why not?
Because I
late bloomer.
I really wanted to do the Weezer trivia, because I got this. So it's Weezerin, I don't know, from Carl's Corner Experience in 2019.
Okay.
And it has like some really fascinating info about Weezer, but then it has like trivia.
Okay.
And yeah. Let's see. I'll just hit him up and say, hey, be on the podcast, bitch. Podcast.
I say we should just have Caleb fly back from the Bahamas.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to hit him up and see if he also wanted to be on the podcast. In the Bahamas. Say cheese for Mr.
Cheese.
Caleb. Oh, that's the picture we're using for today's cover art.
Hell yeah.
Man.
I'm famous, y'all.
Yeah, you're gonna be famous after today.
Yes.
Make sure to tell all your friends to listen to this, because remember, kids, we don't do it for the views. We do it for the viewers.
Yes. Yeah. So who cares how many people see this shit? We're just out here talking about random shit, having fun.
Well, I mean, like, we've talked about Weezer and Chili Peppers, bass, different instrumentation, and then what else did we talk about? We talked about food.
Yeah, a little bit of food.
Yeah, I talked about a lot of different things.
I'm a big foodie, by the way.
What is your favorite like type of food? Or
man, it's hard to pick. Yeah, but I feel like there's one that I could specifically choose. It probably would have to be like I mean, I don't want to be like the one that is on the bandwagon saying like I love Italian food, but I mean, can't beat some good Italian food.
Yeah, you can. You can beat it with Mexican food.
That's true. I feel like I can't really say Mexican because I feel like that's just a very biased.
I mean, maybe it is,
opinion.
But maybe it's but it's not biased. It's well educated.
True. Don't get me wrong, because I fucking love Mexican food, like some like authentic ass, like legit Mexican food.
I so I remember the last time that I went to California, we stopped at this little hole in the wall, just shithole of a building. Like, didn't look like he had a health inspector. I'm not even sure he was wearing the proper like non-slip. Like, I'm pretty sure he was wearing sandals.
Oh man.
But this guy was just making food out of this little corner. I don't even know how he paid the guy. But like, I remember that grease just dripping down my arm. God. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there was probably so many health code violations.
Probably,
and
but
so many like diseases that I got from eating that. But it was tasty, and like I could only imagine what it'd be like eating that high.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, that was, have you ever seen Jack in the Box?
I have, yes.
So they have a menu called the Late Night Munchie Meal.
Yes, yeah, I've seen,
and it's like the most disgusting sounding is like jalapenos deep fried in pancake batter on a burger with cheddar cheese, American, Swiss, and pepper jack, and then wrapped in bacon. And you're like, this sounds disgusting. I'll take 2 of them.
Literally.
And a large order of curly fries.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this almost sounds like something like a pregnant lady would crave. And I've seen some like weird cravings that pregnant ladies will crave, man. I mean,
Taco Bell.
I guess, yeah.
Speaking of which.
Or Pets Me one also. I got it.
Hey, he caught it.
I'm an athlete, like these youngins like to say these days.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
this one feels like it has a little bit more crunch.
This one opened on me.
Uh-oh.
That's what she said. But anyways, yeah. Going to a Mexican restaurant. If you want some like good, authentic ass Mexican food, you have to, repeat, you have to go to the ghetto to get some good Mexican food.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, they'll stay open till like 3 in the fucking morning.
Yeah.
First off, props to those people, because goddamn, to stay awake that late making food for drunk assholes later in the night who were probably drinking away at some shitty bar. Props to them, because goddamn, man, gotta deal with all these assholes and still make some good food.
Yeah.
Like, you're still willing to make good food for these people.
Unbridled hospitality. But I think that comes from experience. They're used to making food for drunk people in their homes. The best taco I've ever had was so I was staying with some friends. And so my parents were in Mexico. I was in the States in Texas, and we were staying at a friend's house. And his mom was like, hey, I gotta go run some errands. Do you want to come with me? And I said, sure, why not? So when you hear the term errands, what do you think?
Like, going to buy a couple things, maybe
the post office, laundromat.
Yeah.
Pick up something from the dry cleaner. Pay a bill. Like, it was later in the night, but I don't know. Something.
Yeah. Go get some food in the middle of it, like, you know.
Yeah. So we drive into some, like, neighborhood, and all of a sudden I hear loud music, see lights, and then, like, as we're, like, approaching closer, I realize that's not just any music. That's, like, Spanish music. That's mariachi bands. This is, like, lots of different, just all over the place. And then, like, I don't think Bad Bunny was even around then. But, or was he? I don't know. But, like, it was just, it went from, like, mariachi to, like, Mexican pop to, like, just everything different.
Yeah.
And then I noticed a mechanical bull without a head.
Oh.
I was like, I'm not at the post office.
Nope.
And we approach closer, and somehow I end up in this line, and they hand me a plate, and all of a sudden a couple of tortillas make their way onto said plate, and there's this old lady working the grill with 2 spatulas and a Corona in another hand. Like, I don't know, she had like 3 hands. It was
she was doing her thing.
Yeah, but she wasn't saying a word, but she was working efficient, like, and next thing I know is some kind of meat ends up on said tortillas. I don't even think there was like any onion or like anything for flavor, but maybe a lime, I think.
Okay.
And they just said, eat it. I was like, okay, and I'm pretty sure I got a cup of horchata too.
Oh,
I was like, it just, like, it kind of made its way into my hand. And so, like, before I could even question where I was or whatever, I was just, like, not violated, but I'm trying to think of the word. I was just, like, thrown into the situation. I was like, oh my God. And so next thing I know is I sit down and I'm eating and I'm like, holy shit, can I go back for seconds?
Yeah, literally.
Just down this thing. I don't know what it was.
I think that's what I kind of miss a lot when I was growing up, going to like a family's house.
Mm-hmm.
That there always be food.
Oh, always.
Always. Oh my God. I mean, I remember days where my aunt would just cook from early in the morning. She'd have food ready for us by the time we got there. And she would beg for us to like grab seconds, and
oh yeah,
I don't know what they do to make it taste so good.
It's not your family's food. Once you've had your family's food for so long, you're like, anything tastes better.
I mean,
oh, actually, I take that back. I've had some neighbors and friends cooking.
My mom is probably one of the world's best cooks ever. And I'm not just saying that because she's
so.
I'm not saying that just because she's my mom. Like,
must be nice.
She can cook, and like literally anything that like you put in front of her, she'll make like the most amazing dish ever. I don't know how she does it, but like you could literally hand her like a tortilla and some fucking like some like salsa, and she'll just make something crazy with it, and it'll taste fucking amazing. I don't know how she does it, but she impresses me quite a bit.
We'll have to have her on the podcast.
That'd be awesome. She doesn't speak English too well, but
we're like, we got a hot plate, got all the ingredients you need. Have at it.
Have at it.
We'll be back in 20. We'll give her a little cooking segment on the show. It'll be great.
First, you put tortilla over here.
That's racist.
Hey.
Even though it's your own mom.
It's my own mom, and she has the thickest Hispanic accent out there.
That's all good.
If anything, I'm just imitating her accent.
The job that I work at, it's really fun because I started learning Spanish slowly. And so, like, I went from, like, knowing no Spanish at all to comprende de dos papas para llevar, por favor.
Yeah.
and that's about the extent of it, but like it's just either that or hey, pinche pendejo.
Oh man.
But yeah, no,
and it's all the cooks too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
They're the ones that like to fuck with everyone.
Well,
all the waiters, or any like oncoming customers that are just walking across the kitchen, because some restaurants have like that visible kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those cooks will fuck with the customers because they just can't.
Oh, we're not allowed to do that.
Oh no,
I'm barely allowed to mess with people.
Oh really?
What is it like? Don't get me wrong. I'd say that's probably the most fun I have at work is harassing people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll drop something off. I'm like, hey, do we have onion rings over here? They're like, oh yeah, that's us. I was like, oh, I was just asking if we had any. These aren't yours.
Oh man.
And then I'll walk away and then drop them off. Oh yeah, I love harassing people. It's a lot of fun. That being said, oh wait, did we get a response from him? Loser. But what was this? Kitchen. That being said, I will bleep this out. One of the most terrifying things that I've ever heard came out of the mouth of one of my old coworkers. And so I had this other line cook at the time. He's now one of my bosses, but he was a line cook. I don't know what he did, but he pissed off the other guy. And it was kind of that one that, like, he was a teddy bear, but you also kind of wanted to piss him off a little bit just for the sake of having a little bit of fun. I don't know what my other guy did, but he pissed him off, and it was just the right amount because he looked over at him, he smacked him with a spatula and said,
oh my god. Oh my god.
Like I said, I'm gonna bleep that out. Just remind me to bleep that.
Yeah. Holy shit, man. So, oh my god.
I remember hearing that and going like, holy shit.
I don't even think I've ever gotten that mad in my life.
He like chained together two different languages. Yeah. And it was like a Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Fatality.
It's kind of like when you're like watching like when you played like a movie on the on like a DVD player, and you're like changing the languages one by one. That's
yeah, that's pretty much. It's like the subtitles couldn't even figure out what language. It's like he went from there's French, Arabic, a little Spanglish, a little English, a little Spanish. You know, there's a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Either way, like I just from that day forward, I was like, don't mess with that guy.
Yeah.
Everyone else, on the other hand, you know, fair game, but not that guy.
Yeah,
that guy scared me until the day that he once was leaving, and he was like, "Have a good night, Noah." I was like, "Yes, sir." Like, never said a word to me.
I think that's kind of what I meant. That's the atmosphere that I miss when I was working food service.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to like mess with my coworkers and like. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like that sense of family. Like you could mess with them and they could mess with you back, and like at 5 minutes later, like we'd all be fine. We'd all be just vibing with each other, helping each other out.
Yeah.
I think that's what I miss the most about working food service. But oh, dude, dealing with customers sometimes can be the absolute worst because
people are the worst.
Hungry people, like hunger brings the absolute worst in people.
That it does.
And like I feel like I've seen it firsthand. Like you could not imagine what, like, I've had food thrown at me. That was, oh my god, I didn't know what to do in that situation. Like,
I once had somebody throw I can't remember if they threw the burger or just the tomatoes, but there was something about the tomato. No, I think they threw the entire burger at a coworker because they didn't want tomatoes, but the kitchen accidentally put tomatoes, or they sent out the wrong one or something. But I remember thinking, how do you get to that point? Like, how bad was your day that you thought, I'm gonna go throw a burger at somebody tonight?
Well, literally, like, do you not have anything else? Just simple mistake. Just take the damn tomatoes off. It's not that hard.
Take it off, like I have an allergy, but like a lot of times I can still just pick them off.
Yeah.
But like, even if it was that severe of an allergy, you know, you just this came with tomatoes. Can I get a new one? You know, 9 times out of 10, most places aren't gonna be, nah, bitch, eat it. You know, 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna do that.
Most of the times they'll be like, oh, sorry about that, sir. We'll get that taken care of for you.
Yeah, and
unless you're being an asshole, because I've dealt with someone who's like being an asshole, and I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'll take care of that for you, and then we'll have a cook like fuck it up even more than what it actually is.
No, you're one of those people.
We are, yes. Well, because, you know, it's like, it'd be one of those customers who'd been like rude from the moment they got there.
Yeah, and I'm not allowed to do that.
And then like they keep just pushing your buttons until at one point you're like, dude, really? Okay, fine. Don't worry, we'll help you. And then we would just fuck it up even more than what it already was. And
I had a gentleman like that one time, and I remember like every single step of the way, it got to the point where I got so specific with like even how I would ask things. I'm like, all right, when you say that, do you mean this, or do you mean this? Or like bring in multiple sizes of to-go boxes. I'm like, I have these ones. I felt like a car salesman. It's like, I have that in this model, in this booth right here. I have this one that has the stain over here, or I could take you to this somewhat newer booth. You know, it's like, though I will warn you, the table is a little wobbly. You know, it's like getting so specific to or like that one. But if you choose this booth, that salt's at the halfway point, so you just have to think. But yeah, no, it was good times.
It was good. And then I've also, I don't know if you've ever gotten like death threats from customers before, but I've had to deal with that before too, where they're like, you better hope you're not here whenever I come back, because if you're back here when I come back, it's game over for you. I'm like,
okay,
holy fuck, what?
Don't take this the wrong way. Maybe you just weren't that good of a server.
No, well, okay, because the restaurant that I worked at specifically, it was more of a like, if you've ever been to Chipotle, that's kind of what it was. And like I said,
is it fast casual?
It was fast casual, yeah, fast casual. So
how do you feel about that concept, fast casual?
I mean, it's a good concept, and I personally liked it because it kind of taught me how to like motivate me to like learn to cook more. And because like it wasn't as, the one I worked at wasn't as big as like Chipotle, where there'd be someone in the back, you know, grilling all the meats, and then someone like prepping all the stuff. Like, no, everyone that worked there did a little bit of everything. So you know, one point I'd be helping customers, and then I'd be like, oh, we gotta cook more steak. Oh, so I go back to the grill, cook some steak up, get it put in containers and stuff like that. So it motivated me to learn how to cook more, and it's a good concept because it's one of those where like you can have a whole ass line of people waiting, and you can get their food ready in like less than 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Chipotle, I once had a visit where I went to one. I remember a line of 10 people, and there was like 7 employees back there. Yeah. So there was like 2 working specifically their to-go line. There was one at like each part of the line, because you have like the person who does the bowl or the tortillas or the salad. You have the person who does like the proteins, rice and beans, and you have the person who does like the garnishes, and then one person on the cash register. So there's 4 people right there. There was like another guy on the grill, and so maybe there was 8, because there was like another person just kind of running around. And I remember thinking, okay, line of maybe 10 people, 8 people back there, be in and out, no time at all. No, I was there for like almost an hour. I remember I was getting me and I think one other bowl, and we were just slowly approaching, and when I finally got to the line, I was like, finally. And like the person was like, all right, what do you want? I was like, oh well, just 2 bowls. And they were like, oh, and they had 1 bowl, and then they went, and instead of like grabbing a stack of bowls and bringing them over, they grabbed 1 bowl from like the other side of the restaurant, came back, and we're like, okay, now what do you? And I was like, this is just inefficient. And then the next person, like, they all slowly did it. Like, I don't even think they put the right portion in, because at Chipotle, it's like a heaping scoop. It's not just like a level scoop. I don't know. I've seen it at different places, because there's one not far from my house. That one's good. The other one, not too much. No bueno. And then there was another one where the guy was, I could tell he's just having a rough day. And I was like, don't get me wrong, I get having rough days, but just try. Just try. That's all I ask. And there's another one that on Rock. That one's pretty alright. The one over by the AMC. Yeah. That one's pretty alright. That being said, this Chipotle in particular, I won't say which one it is, but it was a rather bad experience, and I've only since returned like one time. Chipotle is another one of those restaurants that like I don't really like, but when I'm in the mood for it, I'll probably eat it like 4
Well, and there's a Chipotle like right behind where I work now. Now I work retail.
Oh, my condolences.
Work retail, which is a completely different ballgame, and I think I'm a lot more pissed off with people now working retail than I was working food service. But I think it's different. It's from a different perspective for me now, because when I was working food service, it was under my parents. You know, so like I could not fuck up one bit, or else I would not hear the end of it from my parents. Like to the point where they could probably kick me out of the house. It got to that point one time where they're like, if you keep this up, we're gonna kick you out of the house. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm done.
That reminds me, I gotta show you. So it was an Asian grading. There was a parent, and they like made a diagram of what like an Asian grading system is. And A was average.
Really?
B was below average.
Oh gosh.
C was like count your days or something like that. And then like D was don't come home, and F was find a new family.
Oh god.
I have to see. I found, because I just saw this out of nowhere, and it was really quite humorous and quite informative. But yeah,
and then like now working retail, it's, since I'm not like being watched by my parents and my parents being on my ass all the time now, it's like different because now I feel like I can be a little more lenient with how I am with customers now. But at the same time, I have to be a little careful. But I've kind of learned how to be like firm and stern with people in a polite way to where they're not like, you're being rude. And yeah, I kind of learned it from my manager because she's a Hispanic lady who I've known forever. Actually, she's a family friend.
Nice.
I've known her forever. That's how I even got the job at where I work at now. But she's kind of taught me how to be like. She's taught me how to be an
favoritism.
She's taught me how to be an asshole without seeming like an asshole. It's pretty great.
Okay, so I found it.
And yes, favoritism at its finest.
So my chemistry teacher has an Asian grading scale: A, B, C, D, and F. A is average, B is below average, C is can't eat dinner, D was don't even come home, and F was find a new family.
Oh God,
it's beautiful.
Oh man.
Oh man, good times.
It used to be for me like back in high school, where I'd be like, dude, if I got a C, I'd be like, man, as long as I get a C in this class, man, I just need to pass it to where I'm not disappointing my parents enough. Because I didn't graduate high school with like the best GPA out there. I think I graduated with like a 2.8,
man,
which is not the greatest out there, but it's better than like most people.
You know, the funniest thing about like I can't remember what part of the world it is, but the grading system is so different in like here it drops by like every 10 points a grading scale. So like an A is like a 90 through 100, a B is like an 80 through 90, C is like a 70, and D like etc. Like it just keeps going down. But in like, I can't remember if it was China or like North Korea, it's like an A plus is like a 99 or it's like 100, and there's just no
in between.
Yeah. And then an A minus is like 99, 98 or like an A and then A minus. Like it goes between like 1 or 2 points.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going down. And so like anything below like a 90 is like considered failing, or like 80. And like I kind of think about it. That's kind of like, it's kind of not what is the word? Not messed up, but it's like, it's a very high expectation, very high standard, but it's kind of effective.
Yeah.
'Cause like I remember when my mom, like, I hate saying this on public air, but I was homeschooled. And the way that I was graded, it was like within 5 points was like each grade.
Yeah.
So like according to my mom, it was like anything below a 70 was failing. Or like, no, was it 70 or 80? I don't know, but I remember it was like
very strict,
very like this. There was like one that I failed, and I was like, come on, that's like mostly there. And she was like, I don't care.
Do it again.
It's like, gee willikers. That being said, I was never the best academic student, and then when I went to school, I was still not the best academic student, though I will say I did a lot better in a classroom setting.
Really?
Yeah. I was never good at homeschool, but when you have a book explaining something versus having a teacher actually show you how to do it, you're like, oh my god, slope intercept form still doesn't make sense now, but at least I can see somebody do it.
Yeah.
It's good times.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, in high school I was not the greatest student out there either. I was very like, thing with me is I'm really bad at procrastinating. And so like there'd be days where I'd have homework and I'd be like, I'm tired, I don't really want to do it. And then like the next day when it was due, I'd be doing it like 5 minutes before class started. And then I'd like tell my teacher like, it's not done. I'll have to like turn it in tomorrow. And then it would just, days would keep stacking up, and I'd have more homework. And then at like the last week and a half of school left, I'd be trying to finish all these assignments up because my dumbass didn't want to finish them when they were supposed to be finished. So that's how like a lot of my school years would kind of go, because I was just so bad at procrastinating.
Yeah. What's the word? One of the assignments when I was in school, one of the things is I don't have internet here. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't like work on papers at night. I'd literally have to wait to go to somewhere where I could even save my assignment, save stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I would like go to McDonald's. That was one of the places where I would like sit in the parking lot after hours and just use the Wi-Fi. And one of my last assignments, I was at work and I'd finished my shift and I was just finishing my paper. And then they were like, all right, I don't know where you're going, but you can't be here. And I was like, damn. So I was like, where else? So I sped to McDonald's and I was in the drive-thru. They're like, what do you want? And I was like, I'll take I don't care whatever you get me, but like I need to finish my paper. And I submitted my final like English assignment like a minute before it was due.
Oh man. Those were the days. I remember before spring break this year, we had like a little get together at Reagan's house. Mm-hmm. That was actually the day she got in an accident. Love you, Reagan, but gotta call you out a little bit. Anyways, but I remember that's the day she got in an accident, and we had the little get together, and I remember like I had remembered I had a paper, so I was like, "Fuck, man, what do I do?" And I hadn't even started it, and it was like 2 hours before the due date. And I was like, shit, well, I gotta go do it. And I remembered, I was like, okay, backpack is in the car. So I'll just go rush out, grab my bag, and just sit down in one of the couches and just start.
Wait, I was gonna say, weren't you doing it at her house?
Yeah, I was. I was doing it at her house, and luckily it was like we got to choose the topic that we wanted to write about. So I was able to get it done in good time, but yeah, I was in there doing it.
I vaguely remember that. I was like, I remember someone, because we were playing poker. No, shout out to James, Reagan's dad.
Yes, he's a legend.
We've talked about maybe even having him on the show one of these days. Want to do another poker episode. Caleb, I was thinking about that. We need to do another poker episode. That would be a lot of fun. Maybe get a camera involved and figure this out, how to do the I can't think of what it's called. Is it the lake? No. The river, that's what it is. But yeah, got a GoPro. We'll figure it out. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, we were playing poker and I remember, let's see, it basically became a pissing contest between Kat and Caleb.
Oh.
Because Kat just has no fear.
That is true.
Shout out to Kat. She scares me a little bit. But like she would literally just play whatever and she'd be like, okay. And she'd just put more chips down on the table and she'd just keep putting chips, and we're like, either she's stupid or she has good cards. But every single time she had like good enough cards where it was like it still would have beat somebody. So like we would put in like maybe one chip and we're like, nope, that's it, I fold. She just kept throwing in the black ones the green ones, or just like all the higher chips. We were just like, and then Caleb, she had like all the black ones, I think, and he had all like the red and the green ones. And so he was just like, fuck it. And just kept putting more in. And it was just whatever chips he would lose, she would get. And whatever chips she would lose, he would get. It just kept going back and forth between them for like an hour or two. And then we switched to blackjack. Which, that was
fun times.
Fun. Yeah, I know. It's nothing like having a bunch of college students gamble.
Yeah. Teaching a great example.
Nothing but the best example.
Oh man, but yeah, and while I was doing that paper, Mr. Bryce, love you Bryce, by the way, but anyways, he kept playing 8-ball with me. Kept trying to.
I remember
He kept bothering me while I'm like, dude, I need to finish this damn essay. Leave me alone. And then he's like, play me on Connect 4. Now, if there's one thing that I feel like you've probably been able to pick up on me is I'm a very competitive person.
You're very competitive.
Super competitive. And I can get a bit
irritated.
loud. Yeah, I can get pretty loud and pretty irritated. I've kind of learned.
Maybe we should play Mario Kart for the video game segment.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You would see how competitive I can get with anything. Literally anything.
I'll see what multiplayer like deathmatch games I have. We'll find something.
I probably will suck at all of them, but I will do whatever I can to win. I am so competitive.
Yeah, no, same here. It's funny. I suck at video games, but like I do enjoy a good competitive game.
For sure.
Mario Kart was probably the only one where it was like I'm pretty somewhat decent at.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the trick shots and business on that game, I'm not that good.
Oh man. Yeah. My brother is like a big like Call of Duty and all like the first person shooter games. Loves all those. I was more of a sport video games guy, so like all the like
nerd.
Yeah, I know.
I really like storytelling video games.
Yeah, those are fun too. Like
like Uncharted.
That's a fun one.
Last of Us.
Yes.
Red Dead Redemption.
Okay, yeah, I like that one too.
You say Oblivion?
I haven't played that one actually.
I haven't either. Everyone tells me it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls, Oblivion, all that good stuff.
What's another? Assassin's Creed. I like a lot of the Assassin's Creed games.
I've never actually played one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Those are probably some of my all-time favorite video games to play. Just I grew up on those.
Have you ever played the Batman Arkham series?
Yes. Oh my God, man. That's a throwback. I love those games. I absolutely love them. I think my favorite one. It's between Arkham City, or the Arkham Knight. One of the two.
I think for me Arkham City, because it's basically they just because like when you go back to when Rocksteady started making those in 2009,
I think 2009.
They already had the idea for Arkham City because you can find the map and blueprint of Arkham City in like this office, but you have to like put 3 layers of the explosive gel on a specific wall. And it took people years to actually find this Easter egg.
Oh wow.
But like you can blow up this wall and find this Easter egg that's just
like the map of the Arkham City map. That's awesome.
And so they had it planned out from the very beginning, or at least those first 2 games, because then Paul Dini, the writer for them, he dropped off at Arkham Knight, which was supposed to be very different. I don't know.
Yeah.
If we ever do an episode on the Arkham series, we might have you on for that.
Hell yeah. Yes, I'd love to.
I'm a huge fan of those series, but Arkham Knight is... I got mixed opinions on it. Like it's a good game because it added a lot of stuff, but gameplay wise, I think it could have done a little better. As far as like even like it's like when you're not in the Batmobile, it's some of the smoothest gameplay like out of that series.
But I feel like a good portion of the game was being in the Batmobile, and it got frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, that like, and then the lack of boss fights, even the story. If I don't necessarily want to go too into detail, but like some of the story just doesn't make any sense. And just revolves around Batman pretty much giving up and like tonight's the night my legacy is over. And it's like, or you could just I don't know. Robin's over there, or Catwoman, or like even if you hadn't freed Catwoman, or the other Robin is also over there. Even if you hadn't gotten to that Robin, like just there's people around you, who are willing to help you. But no, he has to end, and tonight's the night. I don't know. It could have been good.
It could have,
but it's I don't know. As a game, it's fine.
Yeah,
but yeah. I feel like we've been talking for a good chunk.
We have been, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I wanted to play the Weezer trivia, but frickin' Atticus.
Yeah. What the heck, man?
We'll do some basic Weezer trivia. How about that?
Okay. Let's see if I can.
All right. So, what year? What was the release date of the Weezer Blue album?
2000. Oh God. I'm stumped.
May 10th, 1994.
Oh, it was the 90s. God damn.
Yeah.
I was way off.
Yeah, you
Fuck.
As soon as you said 2000, I was like...
Yeah, I was like, shit, I'm done for, but...
May 10th, 1994.
1994, man.
Can you list in order all 10 songs off of the Weezer Blue album?
Fuck no, I can't.
My Name is Jonas, No One Else, The World Has Turned and Left Me Here, Buddy Holly, Undone the Sweater Song, Surf Wax America, Say It Ain't So, In the Garage, Holiday, and Only in Dreams.
Man. Yeah, I don't have it as well studied as you do.
And one last question. Let's see. What was the original rhythm guitar player's name?
Oh my god.
Maybe it's a good thing we didn't do the Weezer trivia.
Yeah, because you absolutely stumped me. I don't have them as well studied. I love a lot of their music, man.
Jason Cropper.
I love a lot of their music. But
He was the original guitar, or like the original rhythm guitar player.
yeah.
And then he and his girlfriend was pregnant, so he stepped down to go do that.
Yeah.
And then Brian Bell, the rhythm guitar player, he just kind of was playing shows and helping him out and whatnot. I think he recorded some stuff on the album too.
Yeah.
And then they went to go take pictures for the album, and they were like, "Are you coming or not?" And he was like, "I guess I'm in the band now."
Oh, there you go.
And that's how he and actually Scott Schreiner, who my ticket, lovely shout out to Scott Schreiner. He signed my ticket.
Nice.
The current bass player, that's kind of how he ended up in Weezer. He just laid down the bass tracks for Maladroit, and then they went to go take pictures for the album. It's like, can I come? Like, I'll be in the band. And yeah, ever since then they've been joined at the hip. So,
Nice.
But yeah, we've talked about it all: tacos and Weezer and music and the Arkham series. So yeah,
Fun times.
yeah. Sorry, this one was a little bit all over the place, folks. But there's a little bit of something in there for everybody. That being said, this was Breezy on the show. He may or may not be on next week. We're not sure. We're still trying to figure that out. Like I said, the only thing we know for certain is Bora or Bor, whatever she wants to go by, will be on the show next week. So I have to make my way downtown. Making my way downtown. My mic is stuck.
There we go.
There we go. All right, we're getting things figured out. Not really, folks. We've been saying we're getting things figured out for a while, and yet we never do. But that's okay, because we here at a distinguished what?
Picture of Grogu.
Oh yes, the computer thing, the screensaver. It is indeed a picture of the little guy. But yeah, might change it out. We'll see. Hey, maybe that should be a thing. What should I change my computer wallpaper to? Let us know, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been your host, Noah. This has been Fabrizio.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here.
And we'll see y'all next week. Be sure to no, I don't do the whole subscribe and all that. Or do we? I don't know. Caleb typically helps me with this part. Bye, folks.